our game of the week. John's Pittsburgh Steelers taking out. Look at him nodding his head, all happy and
Sure.
stuff.
You guys are
Versus
coming to
me and
Acrisure
Justin.
Stadium, huh?
versus
So let me
me
fill
and
you guys
Justin.
in.
All right, you're gonna keep interrupting me while I'm trying to introduce this topic. The Pittsburgh Steelers versus me and Justin's New England Patriots in Ashkur, whatever the hell that stupid stadium name is. Don't even say it, John. Don't even say. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care. They're facing in Pittsburgh. New England is favored by 2 points, I believe. Still, yep. New England's favored by 2 points in Pittsburgh. Mac is dealing with back spasms. He says he's going to be good to go. Number one running back for John's team, Najee Harris, is dealing with a foot injury. He says he's going to be good to go, but TJ Watt is going to be out a little bit. You guys did get a reprieve because he should be back in about 6 to 7 weeks. Here's an interesting stat. Pittsburgh and New England haven't played each other since week 1 in 2019. You know how that game played out? Do you remember that game?
The score was 36-7.
33 to 3, New England Patriots.
That was worse than I thought.
And this, so Bill and Tomlin, Bill Belichick versus Mike Tomlin, head-to-head record, 5-3, favor to Bill Belichick. The first time these two Hall of Fame head coaches will be facing each other without their Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Ben and Tom. So, Justin, I'm going to bring it to you because John needs to calm down a little bit. What do you think about this game? Big matchup, New England Patriots, 0-1. Can't go 0-2, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who squeaked out a win against the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right. So while I don't feel like this is the best matchup for our offense, this is should be a tough one for Mac and the offense to score points. I do feel like it's a great matchup for Bill Belichick and the defense. If there's any time to feast on a quarterback, it's to feast on Mitchell Trubisky and feast on his mistakes, his inaccuracy. Excuse me, he'll throw them into trouble. This is the kind of game that I can see will get sloppy. I could see New England pulling this one out, all because of the defense. This is going to be a defensive anchored game on the New England side.
One of the interesting storylines here is Brian Flores going up against his former team. I really thought Flores was going to join the Matt Patricias and Joe Judges in New England. Not because he's anywhere near as bad as those guys as head coaches, but I thought he would go back to Belichick's staff. And of course, Justin, you said it before. One of the Instagram or Twitter posts you saw was Belichick potentially trying to sabotage the Miami Dolphins, a division rival, by sending that text to Brian Flores, which would lead to the team getting suspended. And now Flores is working with Pittsburgh's linebackers. And last week we saw versus the Cincinnati Bengals a mean streak, as I referred to the Black Air Force One type energy. I think this game is going to be smash mouth. Minka Fitzpatrick trying to assert his will, trying to create plays in the back end. And though we're without TJ Watt, a fascinating storyline here is Malik Reed from Denver, a player that had to fill in for Von Miller when he tore his ACL, and Bradley Chubb in the last 2 seasons in Denver. Now is filling in for the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in TJ Watt. So I'm excited, man. As a Steeler fan, I know very little about this guy, but now he has an opportunity to show himself again in the NFL as a starter. We traded for him about 2 weeks ago, so it's a very quick turnaround. He goes from being in Denver in the Mile High to starting at Acrisure Stadium. That is the name of it, Brandon. And I'm really excited to see what they do to this offensively challenged Patriots offense, because whether or not Kendrick Bourne plays, there is no explosiveness there, and there's really not a threat the way Jamar Chase was a week ago to the Steelers. They're going to blitz, I'm sure, a ton. They're going to pack the box, because I don't think they're really afraid of Devontae Parker. In fact, Mike Tomlin in his interview was talking more highly about Matthew Slater, their legendary special teams player, the gunner. He's a legend. And I think this Patriots offense can run the ball well, but the Steelers invest heavily this offseason, signing on Njoku from Cincinnati and going on the draft and getting DeMarvin Leal to really stop that run. And if we can do that, it's really just going to come down to Mitchell Trubisky not losing the turnover battle. Because, Justin, you said it, he was so bad last week. And, I mean, he did on the stat sheet throw for 194 on 38 attempts. Bro, the dude was consistently inaccurate. Couldn't hit, like, he has good arm strength, but he just can't connect downfield. And he can extend the play, but it's just like, this dude's clearly a bridge quarterback. And I gave him some benefit of the doubt when he came in because maybe Dable will work some of that magic. But after a week, I'm saying to myself, I don't think so. And I'm excited to see, hopefully, Kenny Pickett sometime this year. But for the time being, like you said, Belichick is going to throw some wonky stuff at him. The game plan for Pittsburgh, like it was last week against Cincinnati, don't throw the game away. If you're going to take a shot downfield, don't throw into a double team, which he did last week and almost lost the game. Fortunately, a Bengals linebacker has crappy hands. So with all that being said, I had the Steelers winning this one, 21-17. It's going to be a close one. Ultimately, I think Chris Boswell will be one for the Steelers to make a pair of field goals. Maybe go for two. Actually, I'll go 20-17. Can the math won't add up there, Pittsburgh?
20-17. All right, close game. Here's what I expect from this game, right? I expect Bill's plan is to make Mitch beat us. I think we're all on that same page there. Is they're going to make Mitchell Trubisky beat us. We shut down the Dolphins' run game. While it's not on the same level as the Steelers' run game, because Najee is more talented than the Dolphins' running backs, but we held them to 23 carries for 65 yards. So, and Najee is coming, dealing with a foot injury. So I expect our run defense to be there. I don't expect the Steelers' run defense to really explode on us. While you say we're offensively challenged and we don't have really like a explosive playmaker, for me, I mean, what really made the difference last week was they had Tyreek and we didn't. He's a game breaker. Tyreek Hill is a game breaker. You know what I mean? And while Deontay Johnson is very talented, and you think very highly of him, John, I don't think he's a game breaker like Tyreek, and I think you can agree with that. He doesn't worry me that much this game simply for the fact that he's 5'10", and we have small cornerbacks that can move pretty well. So I think we match up well with him. Who does scare me is Pickens and Claypool at 6'3" and 6'4", because we have no cornerbacks to guard those big guys. All right. We got a bunch of 5'9", 5'10", 5'11" guys out there.
How about Muth? 6'5". We even got Zach Rader.
Freiermuth. You're talking Freiermuth.
Zach Rader as well as a tight end we utilize. He's 6'8".
Well, yeah, I was strictly talking about our cornerbacks. I mean, obviously the tight ends are going to be lined up with the safeties and linebackers. Him, I wouldn't be that much worried about because we do have Devin McCourty, Jabril Peppers. We have Bentley's a solid coverage linebacker. He's probably more of a red zone goal line threat. But as far as game breakers, I think we're both not evenly matched. You guys obviously have more talent in the receiver position, but neither of us have a game breaker. And I think that's going to make this game very close. I expect our running backs to get a lot more reps. I mean, Damian Harris only getting 9 carries, Ramondre getting 8, I should say. They both should eat, though. Damian Harris should be getting around 14 to 15 carries, while Ramondre should stay around that 7 to 9 carries. Really, what's going to come down to is I think we're going to stay committed to the run game, because our offensive plan is the run game is going to open up the pass game, open up the play action game, open up the field, open up the field. Now, I do expect Kendrick Bourne to get a lot more reps this game. If he doesn't, then I'm going to be here when we talk on our recaps, and I'm going to say this is BS. All right, but if he's on the field, I think he can open up the field for a Jacoby Myers, a Hunter Henry, and a Jonnu Smith. So for me, I expect it to be very close, just like John. And just like John, I have it a 3-point game, but I have it 23-20 New England Patriots pull it out.
I didn't give my final score. I think 24-20 New England pulls it out. I think Ramondre Stevenson is going to have a pretty big game. Ty Montgomery, I believe, was placed on the IR. So
yeah,
I think Stevenson is going to step in as that third down back. He's going to be that main passing back, receiving back, and I could see Mack and him having a very good connection. Stevenson had some big games last season. I think he reintroduces himself on Sunday against the Steelers.
Yeah. Ultimately, whoever wins the turnover battle, whoever wins the turnover battle in this one will be the winner. That's my take. And I think Minka had one last week, Akello did, and so did Cortland, or I keep calling him Cortland. Cam Sutton had one, almost two, one was called back, which shouldn't have been. I'm expecting this week Levi Wallace, a former Buffalo Bill. He's limited with a ankle. I think he gets one, and I also think Cam Sutton gets himself another one. I think Mac Jones is going to look his way, and though he's limited, he's only about 5'10". I think Cam Sutton gets himself
So you think
one or
Mac
two.
throws 2 interceptions this game?
I do.
See, you said this game's going to come down to turnovers, and if that's the case, then I'm telling you, I'm betting on Mac Jones over Mitchell Trubisky to not turn the ball over because Mitchell, we all know about Mitchell Trubisky.
And lastly, dude, Deontay, I think he's going to get shut down. I think Belichick, much like he did with Antonio Brown, is going to take him out of the game. And then Najee is already compromised. But I was saying it before, Muth, I'm expecting him to get into the end zone. And I'm also expecting Chase Claypool, after only scoring 2 TDs last year, to find himself there, whether it's one of those weird end arounds they're doing, the sweeps with him in the running game, or they just throw him up a fade and he gets one. So I'm expecting 2 TDs from those two guys.
Yeah. All I want to see is Kendrick Bourne on the field. That's it. That's simply what I just want to see him on the field, and I want to see him get targeted. That's it.
I want to see Kendrick Bourne on the field, and I want to see Jacoby Myers catch a touchdown. What are the odds on that?
Probably, you're probably favored in that one if you want to plus money there.